Welcome back to Predicting the NFL with Mickey G. As you can see, it is Halloween, so happy Halloween, everybody. I'm going to see if you guys can figure out what the costume here is. Now, obviously, the jersey over top might confuse a little bit, but I think you guys are smart, and I think you guys figure it out. But I'm just going to leave jersey on. We'll see how you can figure it out. Let me know in the comments below what you think the costume is, and if you're really cool, you'll figure it out. So, shout out. But last week, we had another solid week. We've had a really good 3 weeks in a row here, all right? All over 10 wins. This week, we went 12-4. So we're on a hot streak right now. We're moving, we're booming, and we got the game of the week correct. We got the upset correct, and we got the crap fest incorrect. The Jersey team did lose, but we picked them to lose. So that is all correct. So now total overall, we're 77-46. But the game of the week, we're 4-4. The crap fest, we're 4-4. Jersey teams are 4-4 when I wear them. And I'm 4-4 in my picks for the Jersey games as well. The upset's the only one that's not 4-4, and we're 3-5 there, which is pretty solid for the upset picks. So I think we're having a really, really solid season so far. So now the total for week 8, 63-23. I think that's the most wins we have in a week for total. 63. The next closest was 58, which was week 7 last week. But we're 5-0 in game of the weeks. We're 2-3 in upsets, 3-2 in crap fests. Teams are 0-2 when I wear the jersey, but I am 1-1 in my jersey picks. So, a lot of exciting stuff for week 8. Let's talk about how the games went last week, though. Wearing these gloves is like throwing off my dexterity, which is kind of funny, but all right. So we have the Texans and the Colts played, and Anthony Richardson had one of the worst completion percentages of all time. Stroud had a decent game, but still would like more from him, especially against this Colts team. But it was bad enough, and Anthony Richardson at one point took himself out of the game because he was tired. So he is now being benched. Flacco will be the starting QB going forward in Indianapolis. The Browns with the big upset over the Ravens. Jameis coming in, his first start, and he goes out and he gets a victory against the Ravens. I probably could have picked that, but I was like, I don't know about first week he's going to come in. But I should have been like, yeah, you feel like usually the first week, there's like, whoa, new guy. Don't have a lot of film on him yet. And they go out there, win, then after that, teams figure it out. But Browns go out there. It's a division matchup. Good game for them. It's a good game overall, though. Back and forth the whole time. The Jets are awful. They lose to the Patriots. The defense has looked much worse now that Robert Saleh is gone. The Jets continue to make mistakes, and it's really funny for Aaron Rodgers to be on a 2-win football team. The Chiefs got past the Raiders. It was close, though. Only won by 7, so the Raiders are still the team that's playing the Chiefs the best, it seems like. They're the last team to beat them. They almost got him here. Maybe next time they play, they'll get him. We'll see. The Jags lost a heartbreaker against the Packers. Trevor went down there, threw a nice ball with a crazy catch from Evan Ingram to tie it up at 27. And then, of course, the defense completely sold and allowed a huge gain and then an easy field goal for the Packers, and they lost. That's, I think, the second or third last second field goal the Jaguars have lost on this season, so they really need to lock in and stop letting that happen. The defense needs to really start to perform on those last drives, because also was the fact that Jordan Love got hurt. I mean, he wasn't playing that great, but Malik Willis came in and beat them. I mean, come on, guys, you got to do better than that. The Cardinals beat the Dolphins. It was a close one, but people forgetting that Tua's not good. He's just much better than Skylar Thompson, Tyler Huntley, and Tim Boyle. So obviously the offense looked a lot better, but they're still not good, and the Cardinals are in the NFC West, and they can beat any team and they can lose any team. So this is one of the ones they chose to win. The Lions completely destroyed the Titans. It was kind of close for a little bit, and then the Lions realized they were playing the Titans, and then it became way out of 52 points for the Lions there. Ridiculous stuff. The Bengals looked awful against the Eagles. Just a gross game of football for them. Lost by 20 points, allowed 37 to the Eagles, who have not looked good all season. Bengals, man, they're in an ugly spot. The Bills, they beat the Seahawks pretty handily. Not much of a game of the week there. Disappointing game from the Seahawks. Bills looking good, though, and they stay on top of that division. The Saints got crushed by the Chargers. The best the Chargers have looked all season. Good game from Herbert, good game from the defense. Just overall dominant performance from them. The Broncos beat up on the Panthers. Bryce Young didn't look too bad, but he had a couple touchdowns, but he also had, some more interceptions, so bit of an even spot there. But the Broncos defense continues to look really good, and Bo Nix continues to be carried by a good team. The Steelers, with an 8-point victory over the Giants, should not have been as close as it was, but they like to let teams hang around sometimes, but they were able to get the win pretty handily. On Thursday, the Rams came out and they shocked the Vikings. I didn't know that Puka was also going to be back. I didn't think him and Kupp were going to make it back in the same week, so that was a big thing for them. The Rams should be able to go on a run now. They're already in a decent spot in the division just because of how bad the division's been, or how just average the division has been, actually. So they should be able to get themselves a playoff spot now with having both those guys back. It's a huge jump for the offense. It allows them to have actual receivers, so that should be big. The Falcons with a win over the Buccaneers, a close divisional game here. I think if Godwin and Evans were there, then maybe the Buccaneers get it, but Falcons, they are the healthier team right now, and Kyle Pitts with a crazy game on that tight end day. So big game for him. You love to see it as a Kyle Pitts enjoyer. The Washington Commies, a lot of field goals in this one, but the last one they scored, this last score they got, was a touchdown on a Hail Mary. The Bears sold insanely hard. Ball's tipped up and caught in the end zone. Washington, way funnier for them to win this game, especially on a Hail Mary. Caleb Williams, take and hold that L. Bears will be going max 6 wins this year. They have a hugely tough schedule the rest of the season. The Niners, they beat the Cowboys. It should not have been as close as this. They were beating them pretty handily, and then they let them come back a little bit. Dak Prescott in the fourth quarter with some great garbage points. That's what he normally does. But 49ers are able to get this one as was expected. And that was how last week went. So, taking a look, moving into next week, we're starting off, and we actually have our Jersey game starting off here. We have the Texans at the Jets. The Jets have been looking bad all year long. And while the Texans have maybe not been as good as we thought they were going to be, their record looks like it is. They're 6-2 going into this game. They've had some tough ones. They've had some close ones that maybe they shouldn't have, but I think they're still a good team. And if CJ can and take the spirit of Matt Schaub here and go out and get himself a victory, I think that's a solid move. So, going with the Texans in this one for sure. Next is the Patriots at the Titans. This is our crap fest of the week. Titans are bad. Patriots with a big surprise win last week over the Jets. But here's the thing. Will Levis is expected to be back and will be starting, so I think that's just a terrible thing for the Titans. I think the Patriots can win that game then. Drake May not expected to be back yet, but Brissett had a pretty solid game against the Jets last week, so I think if he continues that going, he should be able to get a win over the Titans. Next is the Dolphins at the Bills. Dolphins are bad. I don't like them. The last time they played, Tua almost died, and he threw 3 interceptions and not even a full game of football. So I am definitely going with the Bills in this one. They looked really good last week, put up a lot of points, and they're at the top of the division. They're going to stay at the top of the division. Next is the Raiders at the Bengals. The Raiders, they're one of those weird teams. The Bengals are as well. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. You're not really sure whether or not they're going to show up in a good way or not. Going with the home team here, the Bengals are at home. I think they bounce back after that loss to the Browns. The Raiders, I think they just had a lot of more fire against that divisional matchup. Not expecting to see that here, so I think the Bengals should be able to get away with this one. Next is the Broncos at the Ravens. The Broncos, while having a really solid defense, the Ravens I don't think are going to lose 2 in a row. They had a tough loss last week. It wasn't the Bengals who lost to the Browns. Who did the Bengals? The Bengals lost to the Eagles. I don't know what I was saying earlier. Braves are the ones who lost to the Browns. A tough matchup. I think they're going to bounce back hard and fast against the Broncos. They also went out and grabbed Deontay Johnson from the Panthers. I think that's going to be a big boost to their offense. That makes them a lot better. I mean, you don't want Rashad Bateman to be one of your top options receiving the ball. So the Ravens are going to get this one. Next is the Chargers at the Browns. Chargers, I really liked what I saw from them last week. Browns, the same thing, but I think after a week, you get some film on Jameis. I'm expecting a couple turnovers because he had a few that he should have had last week, but the Braves just couldn't catch the ball. So I think this will be the difference here. I think the Chargers are going to catch those interceptions that Jameis tries to throw, and that's what's going to be the difference in this game. So Chargers will be getting this one. Next is the Jaguars at the Eagles. I might be coping a little hard here, but I haven't liked a lot of what I've seen from the Eagles this year, and the Jags, and especially Trevor Lawrence, has been playing really well offensively the past couple weeks. They've been putting up a decent amount of points, unlike they were in the previous couple weeks, the first like 3 or 4. So I think the Jags can actually go out there, get the upset. Back in 2022, they started out 2-6. They went into 7-2 in the last 9 games and made the playoffs. I'm holding out hope. I'm coping super hard. I think the Jags can do it again. So, Jags getting this one over the Eagles. Next is the Colts at the Vikings. Colts, they are starting Joe Flacco. I think that's a big thing. But the Vikings coming off a little bit of a mini bye here. They've had an extra time to prepare. And it was announced fairly quickly that Flacco would be the starter going forward after the Anthony Richardson taking his out of the game thing. I think also Flacco might not be able to escape as well as Anthony Richardson might have. So I think there could be a lot more sacks in his future. I got to go with the Vikings here. I think they're the better team. I don't think the Colts are great to begin with. I think Anthony Richardson makes them a lot worse. So that's why I'm picking the Vikings. Next is the Buccaneers at the Chiefs. If they didn't have all those injuries to the receivers, this was maybe going to be considered picking an upset here. However, that's why they weren't able to beat the Falcons last week, and their defense has not been looking super great. They've been allowing a lot of points, so it's hard for me to pick the Buccaneers in this one. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I want the Buccaneers to pull an upset. I think they could be the team to do it. I think Baker could be the guy to do it, but it's just hard for me to pick them when they don't have those receivers due to injury. Next is the Commies going over to see the Giants. I keep talking about the team that I think is going to win first, and it's screwing me up. I'm picking the Washingtons, all right? Giants are bad. Daniel Jones is bad. Washington's looking really good. They got a lot of things going on with that. That offense is great at scoring. They already beat them once. I think they can do it again. Next is the Cowboys at the Falcons. Cowboys I've been very low on all season. Falcons have been very high on. I really liked what I saw for them last week. I think their defense, the Cowboys defense, is just as bad as the Buccaneers. I think they'll be able to put up a lot of points. Kyle Pitts, I want another big game from them. Falcons are getting this one. Next is the Saints at the Panthers. Derek Carr expected to be back, and I believe Chris Olave is back as well. I'm not sure who the QB for the Panthers will be. It's either Bryce Young or Andy Dalton, but I just don't think that team's good enough to win anyways. It doesn't really matter. I think the Saints should be able to get this one. Next is the Bears at the Cardinals. Bears, I'm really low on. Cardinals, I'm not the super high on them, but I think they're able to beat the bad teams. So I want to pick the Cardinals in this one. I'm hating on Caleb Williams. I'm hating on that team very hard. I think Kyler Murray goes out and runs around in circles and scores some touchdowns. Cardinals are getting that one. Next is the Rams at the Seahawks. Seahawks, tough loss. They got a little bit exposed there. Rams had their best game of the season by far, I think. Everyone's back and healthy. I think that's going to continue. The Rams are going to be on a streak, and they got a nice mini bye to do with this as well. A little bit of extra days of game planning for the Seahawks. So Rams, I think, are getting this one. And last this week, we have the Lions at the Packers. Game of the week. Come on, it's not even a question. Divisional matchup, the NFC North has been looking so fun, so great, especially the top 3 teams. And as a hater of the Lions, and they're expecting Love to go out there and play, now I might be rethinking my pick here. I was going to go with the Packers, but after the injury that he got last week, I don't know if he's going to play as well. But I think if Willis comes in, their offense has been looking really good when Willis is there. They've been winning games, been scoring points. Granted, it's not been against the best opponents, but he is undefeated, and that accounts for a lot of things. And the offense has been able to run really well with him. I'm going to pick the Packers anyways. They're at home, and I think Lambeau might be able to do some things to the Lions. We'll see, though. We'll see. I'm going with the Packers. That might be a bad pick, but we'll see. Teams on a bye this week are the Steelers and the Niners. Steelers have been looking really good the last couple of weeks offensively with Russell Wilson at QB. Me, a true ball knower, knew that they look better with him. He's now undefeated as their starting quarterback, so exciting stuff there. The Niners, they've got a lot of injuries, so healing up will be a very big help for them. McCaffrey was practicing this week. He could be back after the bye, and that'll be another big boost for them. So the West, which has been a little middle of the road, might start to spread out a little bit with the Rams and the Niners moving up and the Cardinals and Seahawks going down. We'll see what happens there, but that's kind of what I'm predicting for the rest of the season. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, try to guess who the costume is. If you know it, you're a ball knower, and you should feel very proud. If you don't, then you should do some research, because it's from a very, very incredible movie that I recommend to literally everyone. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.